Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't realize this thing was sitting here with people in it, waiting for me to go live. I had to take a phone call, and so it's a good phone call. I started doing my consulting work again. It's nothing like it. It's always fun and entertaining and funny when you do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have, as you guys, some of you know, some of you don't know, let me see, present screen. Over time, I have built out a bunch of aggregators. Um, and I built my aggregators, my public aggregators and my private aggregators to pull news in so I can see what's going on out there in the paranormal world. I have other aggregators that are for business and finance and stuff that focuses directly on banking, stuff that focuses directly on Bitcoin and crypto. But I was going about checking my aggregators today and it pulled up a whole bunch of crazy alien stuff. And I was like, man, let me talk about some of this alien stuff that's going on. For example, watch this. How do I share the screen with this foolishness? Present a share the screen. Uh, Watch this video. This is pure insanity where a trail camera um, straight up caught the prototypical flying saucer with the lights from Close Encounters. Watch this. This is crazy. Look at that crap. I mean, hold on, let me slow it down. I mean, that's insane. I mean, straight up spaceship. No doubt about it. Straight up spaceship out here in these streets. And that was on the 21st of last month. So that led me in to keep on digging, right? Because, my mind get rolling on something. It's just kind of rolling. So I'm like, okay, this kind of stuff is coming out. This kind of stuff is coming through the pipeline. And so I start digging for memorandums. Now, for the record, guys, there's a lot of people in this field who claim to be researchers, right? They profess I'm a Dogman researcher, I'm a Bigfoot researcher, I'm a this researcher, I'm a that researcher. Sitting in a Facebook group, I said 1,000 times, it's not research. Listening to stories is a form of research. There's only one or two people that I've seen that actually go into documentation, and that's from that group with Media Palace and Jeff. I forgot Jeff's last name. Brent Deal. That little group actually will show you documentation. The other person that has documentation was Jimmy Barr, I want to say, but nobody really goes into the documentation to show people what's out already documented. If you are a researcher, clear period, you have to be documenting something, and you should be researching and looking through documentation. You're trying to find hardcore evidence of everything. And I'm like, all right, let me just look into some alien stuff and see what's going on. So, you got tools out here now, unlike you've ever had before. You know what I'm saying? Like AI tools will allow you to scour the internet and find whatever it is. Now, this aggregator pointed me in the right direction because it started talking about the Pentagon UFOs. I said, let me go dig deeper into this. And this is what I found. Hold on. Share tab. The resolution. Deputy Secretary of Defense, senior Pentagon leadership, commanders of combatant commanders, defense agency, and DoD field activity directors, establishment of the all domain anomaly Resolution Office. And that's fine. That's a whole bunch of names, but watch this. Don't worry about all that. When you get right here and you start reading it, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, will be established to carry out the duties that were to be fulfilled by the AOIMSG. The mission of the AARO will be to synchronize efforts across the department and other federal departments and agencies to detect, identify, and attribute objects of interest in or near, on or near military installations, operating areas, training areas, special use airspace, and other areas of interest, and as necessary to mitigate any associated threats to safety of operations and national security. Here's the most significant part. This includes anonymous, unidentified space, airborne, submerged, and transmedium objects. Transmedium objects. Now, I didn't do this before I got here, before y'all came on, but I really wanted to figure out what the hell a definition of a transmedium object was. So, and so, a transmedium object refers to an object or device that are observed to transition between space and the atmosphere or between the atmosphere and bodies of water and are not immediately identifiable. Wow. Transmedium objects typically refer to the ability of an object to fly across multiple environments, such as Earth's atmosphere, in addition to another environment, such as space or underwater. Wow. Now, I'm the news just coming up, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy because it's popping up here and there, boom, boom, boom. And um, if you look at to figure out how to find documents, you got Bing AI is a good place. It's only gonna give you a little while to. You got Bard, which is Google's AI. You got Bing. Um, you got Bing, which is the other AI. So you got those two that you can use that are connected to the internet. And but you got to know how to use them. You got to know how to prompt them. Um, and there's prompts that you can use to get them to kind of break their character and pull stuff. All right. Um, back to what I was saying. And what I found really wild was at the same time, the aggregator is talking about them changing rules and regulations and creating rules and regulations. One of the other aggregators, which I'm not showing because I don't, we have enough problem with haters. Um, just so happened to pull up a story about that submarine, and that there were constant um, UFO sightings in that area. Legit, right in the Titanic area. Within, I think it was like within 75-mile radius of that, there was constant UFO activity. And I'm like, this is insane that um, it's pumping out, and these are literally going the way these aggregators work. They literally go out and they scan websites and they pull articles based on keywords. So we got one over here pulling everything about aliens, one pulling Dogman, one pulling Bigfoot, one pulling uh rakes and humanoid encounters. And then you got my catch-all one, which kind of they feed back to one in particular, but they're all out there pulling. But there's one that I use that if I want to send a message out across all of them and make a post, I'll post here and it spreads out over all of them, right? Because it updates my post to the other 50 of them. And so as it's all coming back, stuff about the submarine comes back. And I'm just like, this is absolutely insane. And it led me to think about the whole concept of it never made sense that people would go down there in a submarine. What would they might be going down there looking for? Um, that wreck has been there forever. And I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, those guys weren't really trying to go find no Titanic. I think maybe they were looking for other stuff that's known to be down there and got their game smoke messing around under that water with those things that pass in those realms of being underwater. You know what I'm saying? Samara Osborne. This ain't no promo place for whoever's book that is, homie. You're welcome. With this, I mean, you want to promote your people book, tell them holla at me. They're gonna pay me. This ain't no free promotion. All right, so I just think it's very, very interesting that um when we start talking about aliens and what's going on as it pertains to extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings, there's adequate documentation for that. When you really start digging into the cryptids, there's also documentation for it. And there's been plenty of people who pull up the documentation. For example, there's the rules down in Florida, the hunting rules that tell you you cannot take a skunk ape. I mean, it's in the hunting rules and regulations that you cannot take. The word they use is TAKE, um, a skunk ape, and it's completely insane, but it's there. The rules are there. So there's ample evidence outside of like video evidence and audio evidence that people are talking about that what we actually look into is real, and the transition that has to be made as a whole for everybody that's in the whole cryptid field as a content creator is you got to start digging into documentation and really supporting the things that have been said, and then you have to roll out your documentation. Like for example, if you're new here and you haven't seen Dogman 101, Dogman 102, Dogman 103, if you haven't downloaded a report on that, all that stuff is there. That's all the data points that I have for Dogman encounters. And until we start transitioning to a point to where we can document it in that manner, it really just boils down to hearsay, he say, she say, and really just sharing encounters for entertainment and for scaring people. Um, the best document for all of this that I know about is the Bible. I know, Jim, it's definitely in the Bible. Um, and so we have to get beyond just the encounters themselves and get to documenting the encounters and analyzing the encounters and going back and forth and seeing what's going on. But I think it's amazing that we were able to see the UFO live on a trail cam. That's some pure footage that I mean unadulterated footage just from out in the woods. Now watch this. There's been many of people who talk about this feeling of being stalked and being watched. And I've had plenty of eyewitnesses who will say they see shadows out the corner of their eyes. And I thought this was extremely interesting as well. Let me see if I can share this one. How do I share? How do I share? How do I share? Share screen. I thought this was extremely interesting. So this guy's saying that he felt like something was following him. He was seeing things out of the corner of his eye. So he decided to take a snapshot in the mirror. I mean, in the window, and he took some pictures. And this is what he found behind him, trailing him behind him. And that's not no person. Look at that body type. Um, Look at the slender nature of it. You can look at the feet. You can look at the legs. That's not a human being. That's some type of entity that's following him and stalking him. That's another shot of the photo. And here's the thing: plenty of eyewitnesses have that I've spoken to. I've even experienced it myself. I mean, more numerous times where you're sitting there, you're doing something. And matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. This was about a week ago. I'm sitting outside. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, smoking a cigar, listening to some music, and out the corner of my eye, it looks like that's not how it happened. At the right side on my right hand side, I see a person moving, like a real person, like a dude walking. And I see him because he's in a parking lot. I see him, it registers, that's a dude, you know what I'm saying? He don't look like no threat. But literally seconds after I see him, on my left hand side, I see a black shadow go, like, move from one building to the other. And as that shadow's going, he's turning and coming in my direction. And I look over and I'm paying attention to him, and I notice he's holding a baby in his arms. And he poses no threat whatsoever. I mean, you ain't walking up. I mean, you legit got a baby on that's going, ooh. Um, and I'm just watching him. And he goes by, and I was like, that was really, really weird. I know what I saw out of my left hand, the peripheral vision on my left hand side. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've seen it enough to know, okay, that was something. And then there's a feeling that comes with it when you see it. It's kind of like, whoa, like a shock. For me, it's not a fear. It's kind of like, whoa, like what the hell? Like, but it's not a fear that comes with it. It's like, whoa, okay, I felt that, I saw that. That's kind of shocking because you know you saw a shadow, like a person shadow, out the corner of your eye, enough to where you got to turn your head and look in that direction. And this is just photos documenting what so many other people go through. Let me make sure this is being shared to you guys. I'm pretty sure it's being shared. Documenting what so many people go through, especially in this paranormal field. Um, there's ample, and I use the words ample because to me, ample means above 50%. I mean, it's more than just it's majority. The majority of the eyewitnesses that I've talked to that have dealt with Dogman, Bigfoot, played with Ouija boards, went searching for Dogman and Bigfoot. When I say dealt with, I mean they've either had them on their property, or they've been foolish enough to go looking for them, or they bumped into them just in the course of their daily interactions, going back and forth to the store, going out into the woods hunting. They end up seeing shadows and other things out the corner of their eyes. The young man that has Forest Spirits and Forging channel. Yeah, and I've been promoting him because he really is a guy that's out there in the woods doing research. If you go back and look at some of his videos, especially the videos after he started seeing the what we call ethereal, supernatural things. Hold on, let me stop sharing this so I can see what you guys talking about. The supernatural things. If you go back and you start looking at his videos after he started experiencing the others, I call them the others that are out there in the woods with cryptids, and he tells a story about something literally coming into his house, coming through the wall, phasing through the walls in his house, phasing, like standing over his bed, like just insane supernatural stuff that happens directly associated with the cryptid field and directly associated with cryptids themselves. Um, and then when you talk to the eyewitnesses who make the mistake, and this is a huge mistake, of coming into agreement with cryptids by giving them offerings, like, oh, I'm gonna give you some apples or some oranges, and you're like, oh, accept my offering, bro. That's a terrible idea. But nonetheless, those people really, really have a problem. Now, all this stuff is documented. I talked about it over and over again on interviews all over the place. But I find it really, really peculiar that the same phenomenon happens to a person who's either demonized or experiencing demonic activity, where they're seeing shadow men and shadows. And if you don't know what it means when you start seeing shadow men or shadows or things of that nature, it means either something in the spirit realm is attached to you, or something in the spirit realm is um, scouting you for an attack. Sometimes they scout for a week, sometimes they scout for a month. The next thing you know, something pressing down on you in the bed, and then something choking, that kind of stuff happens, right? um so it's either they're scouting you, or you've come into agreement with it. But nonetheless, I find it peculiar that demonization or having like problems in the spirit realm, the same activity is associated with being out in the woods with cryptids and Bigfoot and Dogman and all the other crazy stuff that's out there that nobody really talks about, that I don't really care to talk about because I don't want the smoke that comes along with talking about it. But nonetheless, it's the same thing. People see the same things. I wish I could talk to this gentleman because he's down in Brazil. I wish I could talk to him and ask him questions and say, okay, what else is going on in your life? What have you been doing? You know, what have you done in the past? And I guarantee you there's a source for it. There's a source for it all. There's a starting point for it all. And the issue is tracing things back to that source and figuring out where it started and then fixing it. All right. What was the other one I wanted to show you guys? I think I closed one. But I find it really, really interesting. Transmedium objects refer to objects or devices that are observed in transition between space and atmosphere or between the atmosphere and bodies of water and are not immediately identifiable. Space and atmosphere. So coming out of from outer space into the atmosphere, but are not immediately identifiable. Let's just look up the word transmedium itself. This happens when one reading will take place. Let's see. Oh no, they've the whole. I just want to see something. And you guys are just. I'm legit now doing research live with you guys online. I just want to see if there's a definition for that outside of the definition that's been established by the powers that be at this point in time. If there was a pre-existing definition of what it meant. I don't know what that wigatory is. Oh, let me sit up. Stop being lazy. Chinese engineers develop get out of here. Transmedium drone that can fly in the air and swim underwater. That's pretty freaking interesting. But that ain't what I'm looking for. Here it is. Etymology of English words. All right. An average, sometimes a mathematical mean, logic, the mean or middle term of which is extreme, blah 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 blah. We know what trans means. Exactly. Psychic who's able to cross boundaries between the natural and spiritual worlds, several mediums, formats of presenting, and th- I- they use that word for a reason, and that's what I was trying to get at. Like this is a nice way of saying things that are able to interdimensional things. I mean, interdimensional objects. I mean, it's a nice way of disguising it by it's in plain sight, but it's hidden because it's the word that they use, and that's what was resounding to me. Like transmedium is not because think about it. If it was from the atmosphere into space, I mean, you can call those things mediums, right? Like, but there would be a better word to describe that other than transmedium, and that's what was resounding to me. They're talking about interdimensional spacecraft. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what they're talking about. That's exactly what the hell they're talking about. Interdimensional spacecrafts. No one can beat you, but you can use YouTube for stories that you can. Um, Mr. 77, I actually got that issue fixed on the website. The password reset. I had to hire somebody to fix it, but I got it fixed. So if you want to get into the website, you can always get back in. And there's plenty of codes there for you to get back in at your original price. The posting stuff on YouTube that's repeats is simply this, guys. We have the issue is I can lie to you and make it sound real fly and make it sound real good. or you can kind of hold off and get the truth. Um, and that's it is what it is. Like I've said over and over again, the amount of dogman encounters that come my way and the amount of true dogman encounters that come my way is two completely different things. And here's the problem. If and here's the trap with this community. If I lower my standards, I'm a fake and I'm a fraud. Everybody else got poo-poo standards. People know they don't vet stories. People know they don't do anything. And they don't hold them to a standard at all. And that's just the truth of the matter. So I don't lower my standards. So you will get rebroadcast until I get something new. Now I got some new stuff that's with the editor now, but I mean I'm not finna sit here and destroy my brand just because people want more and more and more and more. Now you can get plenty of stuff on the website. And then the other thing is I can feed, like for example, I gave Cable Guy story. Phenomenal true story. I mean, super duper true story. That story should have got 100,000 views. Guess what they got? I mean, like 8, 10,000. So there's no incentive for me to put anything here. And so when I ask people to share to create an incentive, people don't create it. So guess what? You get what you get over here. And unless I go to the point to where I just dump everything, all the lies, all the bull crap, everything that come my way, I could dump it on you. But then it's going to be ODW is a liar. His stuff is made up. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And therein lies the trap with this field. Like when you the people who do the most research, the people who are most productive, the people um who are most transparent, they're not rewarded. And that's just the honest to God truth. You dig? So it's that way for a reason. And that's up to the audiences. Like I can say right now, make a freestyle of dog man lie to you guys that'll sound fly. But it's a lie. But like Jennifer says, go check out Cable Guy. True story, real hardcore stuff. And so it is what it is. Then you combine that with the algorithm, um, with the algorithm only rewarding like long format content, then there is another problem. And these are the kind of the things that nobody really talks to y'all about. So like the algorithm said, if I put out a 60-minute video, the algorithm will pump it in front of everybody. But I mean, you tell me a 60-minute dog man encounter. Like logically, guys, let me question you guys, right? 60-minute long dog. Anybody ever you have you ever heard of a person who was in the vicinity of a dog man for 60 minutes? And that's the truth. Nobody's there. Because you get a choice. The choice is, yo, I see some weird stuff. I'm about to get right and get the hell up out of here. Or if they were in the vicinity of them for a long time and it was really dangerous, you ain't never heard back from them. So we don't have their story. And so therein lies the conundrum of Dogman itself and cryptids themselves. Like there's a thin line between entertainment and truth. There's only so much you can pull from that person's life before and after the encounter um, in order to add value to what's going on. So let's say Barbie B is telling me about her encounter, and her sister had a dog man encounter. And during that encounter, the two of them were getting out of the car at their parents' house, which is next to the woods, and they hear a noise. They look over, it's a dog man is standing there growling at them, right? And it lets out a roar. They run into the house. That is the encounter. Now, how's that made interesting for you to listen to? Now I gotta say Barbie, what y'all was doing before y'all went there? Tell me about your relationship with you and your sister. Tell me about your relationship with you and your parents. Were you guys supposed to be going out that night? Who did you meet when you were out that night? What had been going on the night before? Was there anything else going on in your life and your world? Blah 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 blah. And then all those elements are what creates the story around the encounter. But if we were to just sit here and talk about dogman encounters, bro, it's simple. Either You have an encounter where it's like a passerby encounter where I'm on a bus and I see it out the window. I'm on a car in a car and I see it at a distance. I look out my window and I see it, but it's at a distance from me, and I call that kind of a passerby encounter. Then you have an interaction with them, where there's some form of interaction, where the dog man's there, I'm there. It growls, I scream, it looks, I look. Those are interactions, encounters where there's some type of interaction with the entity or the creature. And then there's the terrifying encounters where there's pursuits and things coming after the dog man coming after them, or the dog man influencing and affecting their lives. And those are very, very far and few in between. Those are the ones that are habitual encounters where your property is located in the wrong place. And that's that. But any one of those is boiled down to the truth of the matter. I mean not the truth, the nuts and bolts of the matter. The nuts and bolts of the matter is boiled down to 5 minutes. You wouldn't realize how many people I sit on the phone with for 2 hours listening to get a 5 minute piece of truth, and then have to loop back around and go back and dissect and go through everything that that person is saying to try and get to the point to where I understand how they got there. That's why I'm able to pull out all the data points of, hey, if you mess with Ouija boards and do witchcraft and sorcery and you near the woods, oh yeah, you might have an encounter with a dog man, because you're summoning the spirits that rock with them. You're playing around in the spirit realm and you summoning those spirits. You trying to talk to them and be like, oh, tell me what's gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah, they coming, they rolling over, they coming in droves. But some of them got attachments that there's some things they roll with. Some of them roll with Dogman. Some of them roll with Bigfoot. That's their homies. So not only does he come, his homie come. So it's real easy to understand. It's real simple. But in order to give you truth, you ain't gonna get it every day like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're just not gonna get it every day like that. Because I'll be a liar. And that's what it is. Now, if we pull the filters off and just let anything through, then you'll have all kind of content. I mean, all kinds of content. Stories about the old man jumping a fence with uh, a leather vest on and a belt around his waist with a blade. I remember another wild story somebody told me was they saw Anubis and he was coming through the ceiling of their house, and he was like his body was laid flat and his head was pushing through the ceiling, and Anubis was nose to nose with them. Another story is that dog man was throwing boulders at a person, which was completely out of the because that's completely outside of the norm for what anything dog man does. But he's throwing boulders at him. That's not even how they rock. I mean, I got all kinds of stories that just don't cut the mustard. It just don't. They just don't cut the mustard. JFA says it sounds like these spirits need an anchor to have any influence in our reality. JFA is called a law of territory. I'm gonna give y'all a secret, right? Um, if you ain't never read the Bible, you need to read it, and you need to read it from cover to cover, because there's laws in the Bible that directly affect the spirit realm. So, for example, there's a law of territory. Every spirit is supposed to have a body. Period. So, the anchor to our reality is a body. And when something pops up that does not have a body, it's in violation of the law of territory. Because God made man and woman to have spirits inside of a body. And so when you encounter something that's outside of a body that's not supposed to be there, it's violating spiritual laws. And if you understand the spiritual laws, then you understand that, hey, you better get your behind back where you came from and get the hell from around here. That's just like people who decide they're going to astral project and leave their bodies, not unintentionally, but intentionally. Oh, that they can catch, if they're dealing with somebody who know what they're doing, they got real problems, because you ain't supposed to be leaving your body, running around in the streets, hopping on buses. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be doing that. People do it. You ain't supposed to. So if you understand the laws, spiritual laws, or how the world was created. There we go. It's easy to understand these things, and it's a lot easier to deal with things. What up, Nathan? Well, that's why you get replays, because at the end of the day, I'm not really into lying, and the proof is in the pudding. I can make legit. I could probably make $50,000 a month on YouTube if I just sat here and just turned on the microphone and just recorded. Didn't give a damn what I was telling y'all. I mean, if I just recorded, and it didn't matter. I made $50,000 a month every month. I don't do that because I know that as it pertains to people who get the information, it's a real phenomenon that really affects people's lives. And so if you don't get the right information, you start making bad decisions out here in these streets. You make bad decisions, and those bad decisions have consequences. And that's what it is. So that's why I don't do that. That's why I wait. If you've been around a long time, you wait till I get the barrel loaded with a bunch of stories, and then I'll start shooting the trigger. Now, I can definitely do dog. I mean, Bigfoot. I got a lot of Bigfoot stuff, but it don't get traction here. I can definitely do the gangster stuff. I got so many of them stories, it's ridiculous, but it don't get no traction. That's why there's a website, because if you appreciate and you're a connoisseur of great content, you like great stories, then you'll definitely appreciate. Leave that door open, son, so the smoke get out of here. You'll definitely appreciate the stuff that's there. But if you're only into Dogman and you're a Dogman addict and you need your Dogman fix, then bruh, you know, I ain't Marlo. You know what I'm saying? I could be Marlo, but I ain't Marlo. Nathan makes a good point. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this is one of the things you can deal with in the field itself. But you have to understand two things. It's the most important thing for you to, as a consumer of content, to understand. There's a segment of the comment section that you guys read across all videos that's not organic. It's never been organic. It'll never be organic. It's a segment that's designed to discredit what you're looking at and listening to. And so to combat that inorganic narratives that are being created, for example, why you didn't get a picture of it. This isn't real, it's all fake. You'll see it, or if you, I just want you to pay attention because you guys listen to different channels. When you're going through the comments, just look for the same type of comment, the same wording, the exact same wording across channels, and you'll see it. And you'll understand that it's done for a reason. You understand the role that you play if you want this to kind of keep on going the way it's going, where people are giving you content. You'll be amazed at the number of beefs that were instigated by outside forces that don't have nothing to do with none of us, just from the comment section. And then you'll be amazed at the guys that I talk to that are in this field who don't read the comments. Like a lot of your content creators in this field don't even read the comments. They don't read the comments because if, for example, if daily you open your comments and you see somebody saying, "Oh, this is fake," or "You're this, you're this, you're this, you're this," the average person, that really starts affecting their psyche. I mean, it starts hammering away at their psyche, and those guys go through extreme bouts of depression, all kinds of stuff. Times when they can't sleep, times when, I mean, it's insane some of the stuff that creators go through in this field, just based on all the intent, all the I call them flaming tongues and flaming words that come at them. Like you gotta be pretty thick skinned to deal with it. I just so happen to be from New Orleans and be retarded and not really care. All right. When are we going to see the swamp of Louisiana? I heard has a lot of activity. I don't know when you're going to see it. Maybe you want to go to the swamp of Louisiana? Buddy, I see your image, but I'm not sure who you are. Try and reset your password now and see if it works while we're on the live stream. It should allow you to reset your password right now. Try it, and you should get unlocked. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, I mean those comments will kill the people's moods, but that's what ends up happening to a lot of your creators. Um, and then there's prices that people pay for being in this field that they're not aware of. Um, like you often see, when I say often, you often see that your creators get sick, um, that they have bouts of depression. I did this, and this was all in Dogman 103. Bouts of depression, divorces, alcoholism, drug addiction. Um, and these are things that the people that you're listening to are going that they're dealing with. I mean, across the board, they deal with some hardcore stuff because of the field that they're in, and because the spirits that actually occupy and rule this paranormal field that they're not aware of. And one of those things, man, it's a tumultuous, uh, terrible thing to befall you if you don't have an understanding of how to defend yourself and truly know that you can't defend yourself. The only God can defend you. And then know that if you ain't here with an endorsement by God, then you don't need to be here. Because if you ain't got that backing, then you're gonna get your butt whooped. And that's just how it goes down. So watch. Watch what I say. You will see a lot of people getting dealt with because they ain't got the right backing. Hey, D Gramps, there was an article that came out about Solomon Island and Bigfoot's on Solomon Island just recently. I ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life of rolling out looking for stuff that I know is real. I help somebody else go look, but I know what's there. But back to what we were saying: transmedium objects, interdimensional objects, things coming from the spirit world into the natural realm, and probably things coming out of space and into um, the atmosphere and then going underwater. But if you're talking about it from a pure natural standpoint, that's clear evidence that there's UFOs that come from outer space, go through our atmosphere, and splash into the water. So that's even more clear evidence that there's some kind of underwater basis here on this planet. Period. Hands down. If there is no underwater base, why the hell do you need a whole program with funding in order to do it? You dig? I mean, there's no other reason. Now, I ain't gonna do a whole bunch of talking about this because uh this is about to be ignorant and gangster. But I got the area investigations team pretty much pulled together tight. I needed one more member. I got him in. I got him talked to today. Cool dude. Can trust him. And I'm really, really excited about um what's gonna happen. I was trying to do that first investigation the first weekend of September. Then when I looked at my calendar, not only was it inconvenient for me, but also old Josh Turner, Wolfie Wolf, is doing his convention that first weekend. And even though I'm not going to the convention, I ain't trying to compete with the man. I want to see him do well and do the best he can do. So I'm going to take a little bit more time, and I'm going to go the first week of August. I mean, August, September. Yeah, the first week of, I think here's the first week of August. I'm talking about the first, yeah, August, September, October. So yeah, I think here's the first week of September. Mine's going to be like the last week of September, the first week of August. Um, because there's some things that I really, really want to do that I think are so innovative. Now, I don't think I know this is so innovative that it's going to blow people's minds. Um, with Dogman Camps, we had the opportunity for the first time for people to like participate in a live investigation and actually see somebody out there in the field but we had a containment box of the distance the guy could travel, he could be on camera, and all the rest of this. So we about to break through all that. We're gonna bust a move to where everybody can see it. It's about to be dope, super duper dope. So, um, EerieInvestigations.com. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. Let me see if I can find it and put the link in the chat. EE. Oh, that's not gonna get it. It's not gonna get it. That's not it. I'm gonna get the link for you. Boom. And for the record, for the cheapos, I am gonna do a dry run um here on YouTube because I kind of got to do a dry run to kind of work through some kinks. So you'll have an opportunity if you're a cheapo to decide if you want to do it or not. Nathan on his game. Nathan, you on it, baby. Or if you are UFOs considered paranormal, advanced technology appears as magic because we don't understand the physics. And Bella, it depends on where you think that advanced technology came from. And that's the honest to God truth. If you think that advanced technology, human beings just came up with it themselves, then of course you don't think it's paranormal. But if you know and understand where the advanced technology came from, then you know it's paranormal. For example, um, it's well known that there's people who actually use DMT trips to go into the spirit realm and have conversation with clockwork elves, which are nothing more than demons. They do it all the time on their DMT trips. It's well known that the federal government has a program. It's kind of like their own pilot program where you're a pilot, where you take DMT drips, doses of DMT, and they go in and negotiate deals with demons, and they come out with technology. So it just depends on where you think that technology's come from, but it's documented and been released that yeah, they're going to deal with interdimensional beings, um, and doing deals with them to get technology. And then the price that many times that they want to pay in exchange for that technology, um, is some weird, wicked stuff. Stuff that I ain't gonna talk about here, but I mean it's pretty weird, wicked stuff that they want in return. So, Duke, is that stuff paranormal? In my opinion, yes. Because where did it come from? If it came from another realm, yeah. I mean, that's why I can't smoke marijuana. Because if I smoke marijuana, I get opened up in the spirit room. I be hearing people calling my name straight up. Hey, James. Like, what the? I can't do it. I can smoke me a good old fashioned cigar. That's about it. But I'm not really interested in going into those realms, not unless God puts me there himself. So, yeah, that's my stance on it. Um, it just depends on where you believe it comes from, and that's how you can define it. All right, there should be some content dropping for you guys in 5 minutes, so I'm gonna hop off of here. What is it, 3:47? Hold on, let me just make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, man, we ain't even supposed to be smoking no tobacco. I mean, honestly, but that's just one that I gotta be like, yo, pops, I need to smoke me a cigar. Um, let's see, content. When is this supposed to be getting put out there in these streets? There we go. Y'all got one dropping in a few minutes. And let me see if my dude has done what he's supposed to do. And for my members, um, let's see, he's in progress. the content train that was created originally, which created so much fire content for you guys, um, it got broken on many levels. Like the editor that I deal with, that I'm very, very familiar with. And what I mean by editor is he goes in and he edits out mistakes in the storytelling. Uh, that dude was gone for months. I mean, he just finally came back. So he's back. I dumped a whole bunch of stuff on him today. And normally, what the way he and I work is, it's a 24-hour timeline. So if I drop 5 stories on him, within 24 hours, I got 5, right? And and so what I'm trying to dump on him is 5 to 8 a day. Now they're not Dogman. All of them's not Dogman because I just don't have it. But for the members, it's some fire stuff. I mean, it's um hardcore demonic stuff, which you guys will be fine. Don't worry about it. I got that covered once you listen to it. Um, some UFO and alien stuff, some really crazy dream realm stuff that this one guy, his dreams are just insane. And then how they transition into his real life over time, as it's a beautiful journey of what happens in his dreams and how his dreams actually come true, and how some of his dreams are warnings, and how some of his other dreams are just horrifically bad. Um, it's a lot of good stuff coming for you guys. And then my first take at a creepy pasta that I wanted to do is called Father Walker, and that's going to be coming out for you guys. Um, and so you guys are really, really going to enjoy the Father Walker story. But straight up, that's me deciding that I'm going to actually make up something and tell it. But that's fire. That's fire. And I've always wanted um to like tell a murder mystery story. But there's nobody calling me with a murder mystery. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me just do a murder mystery and see how good I could do it. Um, and that's that. Annabella Lee says, but can't there possibly be other beings on other planets who are more advanced than we, not just demons, just more involved? I mean, if that's the case, love, why they got to take DMT and go in the spirit realm and get the information from them? I mean, I'm talking about stuff that's documented, period, you know? So, I don't know. That's for you to decide. That's the beauty of this. I give you information, you decide for yourself. Frankly, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of it really matters to me at the end of the day. Like, it's for you to decide. You know, you're going to do add forums to the new site, enjoy communicate. That's already up. The comment section is already up. I probably will go back and add the forums to the new site. But the comments are back for every story. Um, so every story has the actual, before you could listen to a story, you couldn't comment. Now every story has its comment section. I probably will add the forum back. But what I'm really excited about for the members is this. Not everybody's coming back in, and I know it's working because I've been testing it and tested it with people. We only did one live stream over there. Like I told you, we have the ability to do everything that YouTube does. What the hell is does? Everything that we do on YouTube, we have the ability to do it ourselves. Um, and that's why it was built out the way it's built out. So I'm really excited about that because over there I can talk. Like a lot of people have to run the Rumble and they got to run the this to really really chop it up. Like I can do it on my own thing. So um, that's how we rolling. That's how we are rolling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining me and hanging out. You got about 8 minutes before a series of stories drop. I need to fix the books on the website for the members so they can actually access the books, even though I thought that was there in a tab. I got to figure out since the majority of you guys access it from your phone, I had to figure out how to place it to where, I need to figure out how to place it to where it's easily accessible to people. And I think that's going to be done by a menu. And it doesn't currently have a drop down menu. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fix that. And we are off to the races. With that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Keep an eye out on the news because things are happening in the news daily. And I love you and be careful.